Hola, amigos. Red-pilled biker here. Thought maybe it would be a nice relief for some of you to look at some beautiful scenery while I talk, as opposed to looking at my ugly mug. And you may be saying to yourselves, nothing. But if you are saying to yourselves, well, I wonder where Red-pilled biker is, I can tell you. I'm on, I think it's Highway 87 that runs between Phoenix and Payson, Arizona. And I'm driving up to Payson, Arizona to see if it's the kind of place I would like to settle down one day. So I'm headed that direction. Anyway, am I here to talk about that? Well, apparently, yeah, I did a little bit. But what I'm really interested in talking about is Kyle Rittenhouse. And I think this is a worldwide story because the liberal media has pushed it out there with a bunch of lies. But anyway, I've been keeping up with it a little bit. I'm not a big follower of news. I got a few commentators on YouTube I keep up with. I watch snippets of certain things, just enough to kind of get a pulse on what's happening in the world around me. And so I've heard a little bit and watched a few of the arguments in the trial about Kyle Rittenhouse. And for those of you who don't know, this is a young 17, he might be 18 now, kid who shot 3 people. He killed 2 and wounded another. And this was all done in some place in Wisconsin, and there was a bunch of rioting going on, and he'd gone up there, and this is kind of my point. He'd gone up there to be a sheepdog and a hero. Now, do I think Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty? Absolutely not. He's guilty of the mind programming that so many of us fall into. Do I think he had a right to protect himself, even lethal protection? I do. These people were attacking him with weapons, and he defended himself, and he killed them. So, what's the big deal here? Well, here's the big deal. This is a 17-year-old kid who got himself mixed up in something that was none of his fucking business. And I don't know if this was promoted by his family or what belief system he bought into, but it's the same crazy belief system that a lot of us have shared over the years. We've got to be sheepdog. We've got to be protectors. We've got to save the world from the wolves. And I'm here to tell you, no, we fucking do not have to do that. I feel for this young man. My guess is he'll be found not guilty and be set free. But even if that happens, look at what this 17, 18-year-old kid, and that's what they are. They're kids, they're children. And you realize that the older you get, the more you realize just how immature you were in your teens. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, well, I was an idiot in my 20s. And I have no doubt that one day, if I make it into my 80s or 90s or whatever, I'll look back at the stupid things I thought and did in my 60s. Because life is an ongoing evolution. So my heart goes out to this kid. My compassion goes out to him. But it should be a warning for the rest of us. We don't have to run in to situations that could potentially end up causing us great harm or death. I mean, it could have been worse. This kid could be dead. But what's happening is he's being put through the ringer. His name is now known not just all over the country. It's really big news here in the U.S. But my guess is in all of North America and probably vast majority of the Western world, people are aware of this situation. And so he will forever live in infamy because of what happened, because of what he got himself into. His best bet to have avoided all this stuff is that when he thought, I should go up there and get involved in helping people through the riots, his best bet should have gone and got a bowl of Cheetos, a giant Diet Coke, and played video games. That's what should have happened. And that's what the rest of us should do. Do I think there are times to defend ourselves? Absolutely. Am I anti-firearm? Absolutely not. If somebody is breaking in your home and you have a firearm, you protect your home, you protect yourself, you protect anybody underneath that roof. But to go out and put yourself in a situation that does not belong to you is foolish. Nobody's going to appreciate you. Nobody's going to look up to you. Nobody's going to care that you did that. I'm at a point now, and I've said it in videos before, people who are signing up to be police officers, I think you're foolish right now. Will it come back where they're held in high esteem? I hope so. And I hope they get a higher quality of cop, to be honest with you. Do I think somebody should join the military? There's another commentator on YouTube that's a big proponent of people going to join the military. Well, I understand what he's saying. You can get a good education, you make a little money, it gives you some discipline. It certainly did that for me. But would I do it now so I could go off and fight corporate globalist wars? Absolutely not. Would I recommend a young man enlist in the military? No, especially the ones where you're likely to get killed, like the Marine Corps or the Army. Maybe the Coast Guard. Maybe the Air Force, where there's high technology and you'll learn a real skill that will work with you in the real world. But that's the only encouragement I would give. So I just see Kyle Rittenhouse as a reminder, as a red flag. You know, here's a kid who probably has a really good heart. He thought he was doing something good for his community, or for the community, even though I don't think he's from this town. And maybe he thought he was doing something good for the individuals there. All that is commendable. But when you go into a situation to help others where you feel like you need to carry a firearm, then that's no place you need to be, because the world will come back and take a huge shit on your head, which is exactly what they've done to this young man. And he'll live with this the rest of his life. Can you imagine the emotional scarring of a young kid like this sitting through a trial where his entire future, not even the next year or two, his entire future's at stake. They're trying to put him in prison for the rest of his life, for the next 50, 60, 70 years of his life. That's where they want this young man to be. People, my friends, don't fucking do it. It's not worth it. And nobody out there appreciates you. When this is all said and done, even the so-called red states and the right-wingers and all this other stuff who are supporting him right now, when this is all said and done, he'll fade off into history. The blue people, the leftists, they will go on to bitch and moan about somebody else and to burn down more shit. That's what they do. It's not going to change anything. We got to work ourselves through the cycle, or our society is crumbling. One of those two things are happening. Stopping this in its tracks would be like stopping a speeding freaking locomotive. Unless you're Superman, you ain't going to do it. Just my thoughts. Maybe people disagree. Maybe I'll make people angry because I'm not a rah-rah Kyle Rittenhouse guy. And I do want him to go free. And I do believe what he did was justified. I just think putting yourself in that situation is foolhardy. And I recommend young men don't do that. And if you have a compunction to want to do that, then go back and watch a few other of my videos about how to change your thinking, because that's exactly what you need to do. Maybe in a few years things will turn around. Maybe we'll have worked ourselves through these cycles, but it ain't happening tomorrow, and it's not happening anytime soon. Protect yourselves, protect your future, protect your wealth, protect your lives. That's about the best we can do in chaotic situations. And try to find some peace. And grabbing an AR-15 and running into a burning town does not create peace in your lives. Anyway, gentlemen. Anyway, keep it real, guys. Remember, life is hard. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Adios.